Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to an obese woman demanding that you find her attractive. All right, now this is going to be an interesting one because, everybody has, usually a type, or not everybody. Most people, I would say, have like a type of person, I guess, that they are usually attracted to. And it's a weird one. Like, nobody is entitled to having other people find them attractive. It either is or it isn't. You either find that person attractive or not. So, I just don't feel like this, you can't demand someone fancies you. It just doesn't work like that. So I can't really, I'm eager to hear her rationale behind, her thoughts here, because unfortunately, attraction, it's either there or it's not there. I do think it can grow, like you can become more attracted to someone, but I think there has to be a little bit there to begin with. Like if you find someone like completely unattractive, like there's nothing about them that does it for you, I just don't know if they can really like turn that into attraction. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one. So yeah, I'm eager to see what this lady has to say, really. It's going to be quite an interesting video. By the way, guys, if you enjoy the channel, help me out by liking and subscribing. It really does help. And also check out the Patreon for exclusive content. Let's do it.
For our daily cancellation today, we take into consideration a recent viral video from a woman who insists that although she's morbidly obese, you must still find her physically attractive. You're not entitled to your own opinions or preferences. You must fall madly in love with her.
Crazy.
This is not a suggestion, but rather a requirement.
A demand.
As she clearly explains. Listen.
Hey, bestie. You're wrong. I think it's time for another adult pre-K lesson. What do you think? All right.
Adult pre-K? Was that pre-kindergarten? That's so patronizing.
Turn your listening ears on. Zoop, catch a bubble in your mouth.
She's funny.
Good job. Okay, here's the thing. Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking, or wakes up early in the morning, or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs.
Is it really the same? Guys, do you think that's the same thing? Let me know in the comments.
Are hot. Is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't. Okay, so you are allowed to prefer a partner who likes kayaking, which thankfully I think lets us off the hook, because something tells me she's not exactly an avid kayaker. But those loopholes aside, it seems that our friend here has stumbled on a rather unique pickup line. Part of me wishes that I had thought of this when I was single. Like, ma'am, you are morally obligated to find me attractive. Now come and date me at once, lest you be guilty of problematic and exclusionary behavior.
Because you're allowed to find, like, people who are active, keep fit. That's, I think that's a legit thing that you can find attractive in somebody, right? Because if you're a really fit and active person, you want someone that can maybe do that stuff with you.
But something tells me I would have struck out as badly with that line as I'm sure she does. The only difference is that I would have been arrested for harassment and stalking on top of it. Now, a few points to make here. First of all, this woman, and my 12 seconds of research tells me that her name is Lexi. Has, and the research was just looking at the bottom of the video there where it says her name, she has a problem that goes beyond her weight. If Lexi finds that most people don't want to be around her, it probably is because of her god-awful personality. Yeah. I, for one, would rather take a bath in battery acid than be stuck in a room with her for any length of time.
Yeah, to be fair, she was so condescending in that video, to the point that it was really funny to me. But like, speaking to a potential partner like that would just kill the attraction. I would just get the ick. I'm sure most of you guys as well.
And that's got nothing to do with her appearance. It has everything to do with her demeanor, her attitude, tone of voice, and just way of being.
Yeah.
This is something that anyone who struggles to find a partner should take into consideration. Before wondering whether you're being discriminated against based on your physical features, please reflect on the possibility that you might be a nagging, miserable shrew. Now, it can be hard even for the most attractive person to find or at least maintain relationships if they have a repulsive personality. But if you're not a top-notch physical specimen, and most of us aren't, and you also have the character and general disposition of the Wicked Witch of the West, then you really have put yourself in a hole.
It's going to be hard.
With only yourself to blame for it. Second point, she says that you aren't allowed to exclude entire groups of people from your sexual preference. But that, of course, is exactly what a sexual preference is. That's what any kind of preference is, actually. Preferences exclude by definition. All preferences do. Any preference is exclusionary and discriminatory. That's the whole point. You're preferring one thing over another
thing, yeah.
or one person over another. As for sexual preference specifically, gay men exclude her because she's a woman. Is she going to berate them for that?
Point.
Well,
that's a fair point. I didn't even think of that.
Might, I guess. As we've seen, for years the left insisted that sexuality is innate and immutable. It can't be changed and it's not the result of choice. But more recently, they've decided that their own arguments no longer hold. Your sexuality can become problematic if it excludes so-called marginalized groups. A gay man who isn't attracted to a woman who identifies as a man is now a transphobe. A straight man who isn't attracted to a man who identifies as a woman is also a transphobe. Anybody who isn't attracted to an obese person is fatphobic.
Yeah, it's just getting crazy how we just create labels for everything nowadays. It's just, I feel old sometimes. It's just, I feel like society, sometimes though, it's born from good intention, but I feel like maybe we've gone, I don't know, a bit far. What do you guys think?
Anyone who isn't attracted to shrill, hectoring, condescending scolds like Lexi is whatever kind of phobic that applies to. Your sexuality is not your own business. It is not a private matter anymore, as the left had previously insisted. They will decide who you should be attracted to. And quite often, coincidentally enough, the person putting themselves in the position to make this choice for you will decide that you should be attracted to them personally. Funny how that works.
The only thing that I disagree with is like how he said the left don't want you to You know, trust me, it's not all people on the left that think like that. You know, just like there's probably people on the right that, you know, wouldn't agree with everything he said. I feel like sometimes in society we're too quick to go, oh, left versus right, left versus right. You can have, you know, left-leaning beliefs and right-leaning beliefs, a combination of the two.
You know, it's like, well, I've run the numbers and I've done the calculations, and it turns out that in order to not be a bigot, you're supposed to be turned on by, what does it say here? Oh, me. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Well, I guess I do, actually. Third point, briefly, referring back to the first. This seems to be something that a lot of people do, even if they aren't on the left. When people have trouble forming and maintaining relationships, both sexual and platonic, they develop a victim complex, deciding that the problem in their personal and romantic lives is that everyone else is being mean to them.
Yeah.
And this only exacerbates the problem because nobody wants to be around someone with a victim complex. Even people with victim complexes don't want to be around other people with victim complexes. In fact, people with victim complexes especially don't want to be around other people with victim complexes because then it becomes a zero-sum game, a sort of victimhood competition.
Yeah.
The self-determined victim becomes all the more isolated as a result, and their victim mentality only hardens and spreads and metastasizes over time. So if you're looking around and finding that most people don't want to be around you,
it's you.
Don't find you appealing or attractive.
You got to look at who's the common denominator.
Active on any level, you could start pointing fingers and making demands, or you can begin the difficult work of changing yourself.
Yeah.
And this process should be one that includes both the exterior and the interior, both physical and spiritual. Although this is hard and painful and it requires the kind of honest self-assessment that most people don't have the wherewithal to conduct, the good thing is that you actually have control over yourself. Yourself is a thing you can change by the grace of God. You can't really force anyone else to change.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, to be fair. You know, myself included at times.
All you could do is scream at them as they back ever farther away until you're all alone, yelling into the void. It's up to you which strategy you choose.
It's very true, Matt. Honestly, part of me thinks that maybe she was trolling. Maybe she was just doing it to get a reaction out of people. Because can she really believe what she said there? Like, maybe she does though. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think about her opinion there? And what do you guys think about Matt's opinion? I think, yeah, you can't expecting or demanding people to fancy you. It's just not realistic. It's just not realistic, you know. Ultimately, there's going to be people that do like you and aren't going to like you, like physically, I mean. And in terms of like seeking a relationship, that's just life, you know, unless you are, I don't know, Henry Cavill or Michael B. Jordan, you know, like we're talking like the most attractive people, like you're just not gonna, like there's gonna be people who just, you're not their type. And even Michael B. Jordan, I'm sure there's people, or Henry Cavill, I'm sure there's people who that's just not their type. You know, even though they are, you know, good looking people, there's going to be people who just don't fancy those guys. So that's just life. So I don't feel like her demanding people fancy her is going to get her anywhere. You know, that's just not how it works. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.